Sam. Welcome to a new English listening practice video. So today I'd like to talk about reading, all sorts and types of reading. I haven't really read books that much in my life. I haven't really been attracted to it, honestly. But I have read a few. It's been mainly, well, actually, I was gonna say, it was like fantasy books later on, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. But first comes to mind kind of like for school, right? When you're reading the recommended literature, but then also the literature that you're supposed to read for school. I remember I did not enjoy that. I just not at all. I really did not enjoy that. First of all, it was difficult literature. It was just like, now if I were to read it, first of all, I wouldn't be that interested in it, but I would understand it better, of course, as an adult. But some of those books, reading it as a 13-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid, some of the older poetry or stuff like that, it's kind of, or even older, when finishing high school, it was tough and it was boring, honestly. I don't know what your experience of that is. Let me know. Was it interesting for you? Was it fun, or was it also kind of a little boring? Tough, right? I mean, I know that my experience isn't, not everyone has this experience. I think probably maybe half of the people, maybe the majority have it kind of like this. I don't know. For sure there'll be some people that will have really enjoyed the literature and understood the majority of it and be very advanced in those areas at that age, and also with enjoyment, kind of having a proclivity towards it. So there was actually, during my high school years, and around that time, I picked up A Song of Ice and Fire, so Game of Thrones, right? And that was something I really enjoyed. It's just like big books, right? It's 5 or so big books, and I always carried them with me in my bag, with also the other manuals, history, geography, and maths and all that. Oh my goodness, sometimes my bag was really heavy. And I was always kind of like a slower reader, and it's just the way it is. And I read maybe like a few pages, like 2, 3, 4 pages, sometimes maybe a bit more, on the tram or wherever I was going, usually just home or to school. And then sometimes I read at home also. Interestingly enough, I'm not sure if you will resonate with this, but when I was actually reading, even when it was fantasy like this, it sort of felt like getting into it and kind of doing it sometimes, like it was a little bit difficult. Maybe like the overall thing of reading is difficult. Maybe it's just for me because, I was reading slower. And still, like, I suppose, like, the way I read is like slower than average. I need more time to focus. I need peace to, no pressure of a test or someone watching me to read, So I need to relax, like this guy. Isn't that right, buddy? Eh? Cutie. Yeah, so I always felt like I was overcoming something, even a little bit, even if it was like enjoyable literature. So I feel like after every time I finished a book, I had a sense of accomplishment, actually. So if I were to compare this feeling to like when I was watching a series, maybe like Game of Thrones on like TV, right? On the computer when I was watching a new episode or rewatching, I didn't have that sense of well, accomplishment, I suppose. Also, it was different, right? But what I wanted to say is I didn't have that sense of like, oh, I'm overcoming something. Oh, this is quite difficult. I didn't have the sense of like doing something a bit uncomfortable. I just really completely relaxed. So yeah, I'm curious how you feel with reading. I'm pretty sure that there are so many people that love reading, and that they really fully relax when they do that. And of course, I have times when that happens also. It was just a kind of a feeling that happens a little bit sometimes, kind of like in the background, kind of like just overcome myself a little bit, right? But I think some people might not even have that. Yeah. So a few years after that, I was actually, as I was doing some part-time work, I was listening to Narnia, to the Narnia books, and that was quite nice, quite beautiful, very whimsical fantasy, um, a very whimsical, nice fantasy story. And that's something actually I'm looking forward to next year. I think it's February or March. It's going to be coming out in the cinemas, The Magician's Nephew. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll see if it's going to be good or not. So yeah, I'm going to check it out. I read those, and then about a year ago, so a few years after that, I started reading the trilogy called Mistborn. It's from Brandon Sanderson, and it's like a fantasy. And this one was it was more dramatic, maybe similar to Game of Thrones. It's kind of like, pretty intense sometimes. It was good. I actually enjoyed it. But the way I actually did it was like, I haven't heard anyone doing it like the way I'm about to say it. I had the book because I enjoyed, having it in my hands and smelling it and all that, like physically holding it and then collecting it. But at the same time, I listened to the audio version, so I read faster, and I still enjoyed having it with me. And I enjoyed also the voice acting. That was really good. I liked it. So that was quite fun. That was quite fun. And actually, there's also going to be an adaptation that Brandon Sanderson is a big part of. So that's amazing. It's always great when there's a live action and like the actual creator, the author, is a big part of the creation process. So he's writing the screenplay, he's preparing for it in this like meticulous way, proper way. So that's really quite amazing. Yeah. And actually, so even before I read Mistborn, what I really liked to read and enjoyed was manga. So Japanese comics, right? It was so much fun. That was honestly the most fun. And I haven't read books for a while now. I haven't read manga for a while. But maybe it would be nice to come back to it sometimes. And honestly, how I described reading books, kind of like maybe having in the background or whatever, having that small feeling of like, I gotta overcome myself to sit down and do this, right? With manga, I never had that. It was always much easier to actually get into it, to open it, and yeah, it's just, I feel like it was easier for me, easier for my focus also, because I could see the images, I could enjoy the beautiful art. Wow, now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, I'd like to read a manga. Yeah, and actually something that I am reading is One Piece, a manga that has been coming out for almost 30 years, and I've been reading it for about 5 years, something like that, 4 or 5 years, on a weekly basis. It's been coming out sometimes once every 2 weeks and so on. I started watching the anime those 5-6 years ago. I really liked it, and yeah, so I caught up to the story, and now I've been reading the manga for those years, and it's really nice. It's enjoyable. Yeah, it's digitally. I read it when it comes out, but I really enjoy having the feeling of having the manga in your hand and reading it and just enjoying the whole experience. Is very, very beautiful. What about you? What do you like to read? Do you like to read books? How is it for you? How do you feel when you're reading books? What type of books do you like to read? Or do you prefer manga? Right? It's I think I'll make a video also about the types of manga that I've read in the past, because yeah, there's some good ones. Thank you for listening, and if you'd like to get better at English, especially through conversation, then you can book down in the description or on my homepage a one-to-one English conversation lesson with me. See you in the next video.